Do you ever feel like the world is a runaway train, pulling you in directions you never intended to go? Like your words slip out before you can catch them, your emotions hijack your peace, your finances feel like a constant struggle, and your thoughts swirl into an endless tempest. We've all been there. That feeling of being tossed about by life's relentless waves, searching for an anchor in a tumultuous sea. Perhaps it's the weight of past regrets, the gnawing anxiety of an uncertain future, or the sheer overwhelm of daily demands that leaves you feeling drained and disconnected. Life, in its unpredictable dance, often presents us with storms we never anticipated. A career takes an unexpected turn, relationships face unforeseen challenges, or perhaps simply the relentless pace of modern life leaves us feeling breathless and ungrounded. We yearn for a sense of control, a quiet strength that allows us to navigate these very storms, not just survive them, but to truly thrive amidst them. What if there was a compass, an unwavering inner guide, a profound wisdom waiting within you to lead you through? A timeless philosophy that doesn't promise to remove obstacles, but instead equips you with the resilience to face them with dignity and grace, whispering, "You are not merely a passenger on this journey, you can be the captain of your soul." For centuries, a profound philosophy has offered precisely that compass: Stoicism. It's not a philosophy of emotionless robots, as some might mistakenly believe, but one of profound human flourishing, of mastering what lies within our control and wisely letting go of what does not. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about understanding them, about not letting them dictate your every move. It's about cultivating a deep, abiding inner peace that remains steadfast no matter the external storms. Today, we invite you on a journey to rediscover this ancient path, to reclaim sovereignty over 4 pillars of your life that often feel out of reach: your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind. Imagine the quiet power, the profound peace that comes from truly governing these essential domains. It's not about denying life's difficulties, but about facing them with unwavering inner strength, armed with wisdom passed down through generations. Stoicism offers practical tools, timeless insights, and a profound perspective shift that can transform your daily experience. It teaches us how to speak with intention, manage our emotions with resilience, handle our finances with wisdom, and cultivate a mind that is a source of calm and clarity rather than endless worry. This journey is about building an inner citadel, a sanctuary of peace within yourself that no external force can truly breach. If you are ready to unlock this enduring wisdom, to embark on a path toward a stronger, more peaceful, and truly happier mind, then you are in the right place. We invite you to join us on the Stoic Philosophy YouTube channel. By subscribing, you'll gain access to a treasure trove of insights, practical exercises, and ongoing conversations that will help you cultivate the inner fortitude and tranquility you seek. Let's explore together how these ancient principles can empower you to live a life of purpose and profound well-being. Don't miss out on the next steps in mastering your inner world. Subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy now and empower your mind for a life of strength, peace, and happiness. In our bustling, often overwhelming modern world, it's all too easy to feel adrift, like a tiny boat caught in a vast, unpredictable ocean. The challenges aren't just external, they burrow deep, shaping our inner landscape and often dictating our very peace of mind. We find ourselves constantly reacting rather than thoughtfully responding to the relentless barrage of life. This isn't merely about inconvenience. These are fundamental challenges that can erode the very foundation of a well-lived life, leaving us feeling perpetually exhausted, anxious, and out of sync with our true selves. Consider first the challenge of our mouths. How many times have words, once uttered, felt like a burning ember that can't be retrieved? A sharp retort, born of momentary frustration, a careless gossip that damages trust like a corrosive acid, or perhaps just a constant stream of complaints that slowly but surely poisons our own perspective and the atmosphere around us. In an instant, a thoughtless phrase can fracture a cherished relationship, deepen a misunderstanding, or simply leave us with a bitter taste of regret. We live in an age of instant communication where tweets and messages fly across the digital ether without the crucial pause for reflection. This immediacy often strips us of the opportunity to truly consider, is this necessary? Is this kind? Is this true? The result is a cascade of emotional fallout, both for ourselves and for those we interact with, creating ripples of discord where harmony once existed. Our words, left unchecked, become not tools for connection and understanding, but instruments of unintentional harm, undermining our reputation and chipping away at our inner peace. Then there's the relentless battle with our moods. Our emotions, like powerful, untamed currents, can either propel us forward or tragically drown us. How often do anger, anxiety, frustration, or despair hold us captive in a prison of their own making? A minor setback at work morphs into an all-consuming rage. A fleeting worry about the future blossoms into paralyzing anxiety. These emotional swings leave us exhausted, reactive, and often feeling like passengers in our own lives rather than the drivers. The external world, with its endless stream of news cycles, social media comparisons, and personal disappointments, constantly pokes and prods at our emotional equilibrium. We become exquisitely sensitive to every perceived slight, every unexpected obstacle, allowing external events to dictate our inner state. This emotional reactivity doesn't just make us feel bad, it impairs our judgment, clouds our perspective, and prevents us from engaging with life from a place of clear, calm reason. We yearn for stability, for an emotional anchor, yet often feel helplessly adrift on a turbulent sea of feelings. Next, let's confront the pervasive challenge of money. For many, it's not merely a practical necessity, but a constant, gnawing source of worry that dictates our choices, limits our aspirations, and robs us of genuine freedom. The relentless pursuit of more often traps us in a never-ending cycle of consumption and dissatisfaction. We compare ourselves to others, fall prey to the latest trends, and find ourselves perpetually chasing a moving target of perceived financial security. The fear of not having enough or the anxiety of losing what we possess can overshadow every aspect of life. This financial stress isn't just about numbers in a bank account. It infiltrates our relationships, impacts our health, and can even erode our sense of self-worth. It forces compromises we'd rather not make and often pushes us towards choices driven by fear rather than authentic desire. True financial peace seems like an elusive dream, overshadowed by debt, economic uncertainty, or the sheer weight of societal expectations. We feel enslaved by the very resource meant to offer us liberation. And perhaps most insidiously, there's the constant struggle within our minds. Our thoughts, meant to be our allies, often become our greatest adversaries. They swirl into an endless tempest of worries, self-doubt, criticisms, and external noise, making genuine peace feel like a distant dream. In a world saturated with information and constant stimulation, our minds are rarely given a moment's rest. We replay past mistakes, catastrophize about future possibilities, and allow intrusive thoughts to hijack our focus and contentment. The constant comparison with others on social media, the relentless pursuit of perfection, and the fear of missing out create a cacophony of mental chatter that drowns out our inner wisdom. This mental clutter isn't just distracting. It breeds anxiety, fuels insomnia, and saps our creative energy. Our minds, which should be sanctuaries of clarity and insight, become battlegrounds where external pressures and internal anxieties wage a ceaseless war. We desperately seek quiet, clarity, and a sense of calm, but the relentless internal dialogue makes it an almost impossible quest. These aren't just minor inconveniences, they are fundamental challenges that can erode the very foundation of a well-lived life. They leave us feeling perpetually exhausted, anxious, and out of sync with our true selves. But the Stoics, those ancient masters of self-governance, understood these struggles deeply. They offer not a quick fix, but a profound and enduring antidote. A philosophy that empowers us to reclaim agency over these vital domains and cultivate a life of profound peace and unwavering strength. Exploring the pillars of Stoic mastery. The challenges we face with our words, emotions, money, and thoughts can feel insurmountable. Yet, the wisdom of Stoicism offers not just solace, but a practical, actionable framework for reclaiming control over these vital aspects of our lives. It's a philosophy built on profound self-awareness and deliberate action, empowering us to transform our internal landscape and, by extension, our experience of the world. In this section, we will delve into the 4 core pillars of Stoic mastery, along with 2 foundational practices that underpin this ancient wisdom. Each pillar represents a crucial domain where we can apply Stoic principles to cultivate greater peace, resilience, and purpose. This isn't theoretical. It's a guide to living more intentionally, more harmoniously, and with an unwavering sense of inner strength, regardless of what life throws our way. The mouth, the gatekeeper of your world. Consider your words not as fleeting sounds, but as stones cast into the pond of life. Each word creates ripples, influencing not only others, but fundamentally shaping your own inner landscape. The ancient Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature, recognized the immense power held within our speech. They taught us to view our mouth as a formidable gate and our words as sentinels that should only be allowed passage after rigorous inspection. This isn't about becoming silent or withholding truth, but about cultivating a deep, conscious awareness of what we utter and why. Think of the countless times a thoughtless comment has escalated a minor disagreement into a bitter argument, or a careless piece of gossip has eroded trust and fractured relationships beyond repair. Conversely, recall the profound impact of a single, well-chosen word of encouragement, empathy, or wisdom. How it can uplift a spirit, mend a rift, or inspire profound change. The difference lies in the intention and the pause. The Stoics urged us to embrace the Laconian wit, short, impactful, and truthful speech. They championed clarity over verbosity, honesty over flattery, and utility over mere chatter. This practice begins with mindful listening, truly absorbing what is being said without immediately formulating a response. It requires a deliberate moment of internal reflection. Is this necessary? Is this kind? Is this true? Is this helpful? If a word fails these essential tests, then silence, the Stoics argued, is often the most eloquent and powerful response. Furthermore, our words are not just external expressions, they are internal affirmations. The language we use to describe our circumstances, our challenges, and even ourselves profoundly shapes our perception of reality. If we constantly voice complaints, grievances, and negativity, we are in essence programming our minds to seek out and focus on the bleakest aspects of life. Conversely, expressing gratitude, acceptance, and measured optimism, even in difficult times, reorients our inner compass toward resilience and opportunity. This is why Stoic texts often emphasize the importance of disciplining our assents, accepting only what is demonstrably true and beneficial, and rejecting unhelpful or negative internal narratives before they manifest as spoken words. The practice of controlling your mouth also extends to the management of promises and commitments. A Stoic understands that their word is their bond, and breaking a promise not only damages external trust but corrodes internal integrity. It teaches us to be cautious in what we commit to, ensuring our actions align perfectly with our intentions and our spoken vows. This builds a foundation of reliability and self-respect that is invaluable. Moreover, the Stoic approach to speech encourages constructive communication rather than emotional outbursts. When faced with conflict or injustice, the inclination might be to lash out, to defend aggressively, or to retreat in anger. The Stoic, however, seeks to communicate with reason, calm, and a desire for understanding, even when facing irrationality from others. This requires immense self-control and the ability to detach from the immediate emotional impulse, choosing instead a path of reasoned discourse. It's about speaking not to dominate, but to enlighten, not to accuse, but to understand, not to inflame, but to de-escalate. Ultimately, mastering the mouth is about cultivating profound self-awareness and discipline. It's recognizing that our words are a direct extension of our thoughts and character. By consciously choosing what we say and when we say it, we are not just controlling an external faculty, we are refining our internal world. We are transforming potential discord into serene understanding, ensuring our speech builds rather than demolishes, and aligning our external expression with our deepest values. It is in this mindful pause, this deliberate choice, that we reclaim profound control and cultivate a life marked by integrity, peace, and meaningful connection. The mood, the inner citadel. Our emotions, like powerful currents, can either propel us or drown us. In a world brimming with uncertainty, disappointment, and external pressures, it's all too easy for our moods to swing wildly, holding us captive in a prison of anger, anxiety, or despair. We often feel like puppets on strings, our inner state dictated by the latest news headline, a rude comment from a stranger, or an unexpected setback. But the Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, offered a revolutionary perspective. While we cannot always choose what happens to us, we always have the power to choose our response. This profound truth is the cornerstone of cultivating what they called the inner citadel. Imagine your inner self as an unassailable fortress, impervious to the assaults of external events. External events may rage at its walls, throwing rocks of misfortune or arrows of criticism, but they cannot breach its core unless you, the sovereign of that fortress, allow them to. This isn't about suppressing feelings or becoming emotionless. That's a common misconception of Stoicism. Instead, it's about acknowledging your emotions without judgment, understanding their transient nature, and most crucially, refusing to let them dictate your actions or steal your inner peace. When anger flares, the Stoic doesn't pretend it's not there, but observes it, understands its triggers, and then consciously chooses not to be swept away by its destructive force. They ask, is this emotion useful? Is it based on a rational assessment of the situation, or merely a knee-jerk reaction to a perceived threat? The cultivation of emotional resilience begins with the recognition of what is within our control and what is not. This concept, the dichotomy of control, is fundamental. Our judgments, our thoughts, our responses, these are entirely within our power. External events, other people's opinions, even our own physical health, to a large extent, these are not. Much of our emotional turmoil stems from fiercely trying to control what is inherently uncontrollable. The Stoic practice involves deliberately releasing the need to control the external and redirecting all our energy towards mastering our internal reactions. When a flight is delayed, for instance, a non-Stoic might erupt in frustration, raging against the airline and feeling their day ruined. The Stoic, however, acknowledges the inconvenience, but chooses their response. Acceptance of what is, and focusing on what they can control, like reading a book or making alternative plans. This shift in focus is incredibly liberating. Another crucial Stoic practice for mood management is cognitive reframing, or disciplining assent. This means examining the initial judgment we place on an event. Often it's not the event itself that upsets us, but our interpretation of it. As Epictetus famously said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." A job loss isn't inherently bad, it's a change. Our judgment of it as catastrophic is what triggers despair. The Stoic actively challenges these negative, often irrational judgments, seeking a more objective and rational perspective. They might ask, what is truly within my power here? What is the opportunity within this challenge? What would a wise person do? This deliberate mental work transforms perceived misfortunes into opportunities for growth and fleeting disappointments into lessons learned. Furthermore, gratitude plays a vital role in mood regulation. By consciously focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we shift our emotional baseline towards contentment and appreciation. This isn't naive optimism, but a realistic acknowledgement of the blessings, big and small, that exist even amidst adversity. The Stoics recognize that by cultivating a mindset of thankfulness, we naturally diminish the power of envy, resentment, and dissatisfaction. Finally, the Stoic mastery of mood involves mindful presence. Much of our anxiety stems from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. The Stoics urged us to focus on the present moment, for it is the only time we truly possess. By grounding ourselves in the here and now, by fully engaging with the task at hand, and by appreciating the simple realities of existence, we free ourselves from the tyranny of regrets and anxieties. This isn't just a philosophical concept. It's a practical way to anchor your mind and cultivate profound inner tranquility. It's the profound freedom of saying, I feel this, but I am not defined by it. I choose how I will respond. The money. Mastering material independence. Money. For many, it's not merely a practical necessity, but a constant gnawing source of worry that dictates our choices, limits our aspirations, and robs us of genuine freedom. We live in a society that often equates worth with wealth, leading to a relentless pursuit of more that traps us in a never-ending cycle of consumption and dissatisfaction. We compare ourselves to others, fall prey to the latest trends, and find ourselves perpetually chasing a moving target of perceived financial security. The fear of not having enough or the anxiety of losing what we possess can overshadow every aspect of life, infiltrating our relationships, impacting our health, and even eroding our sense of self-worth. But the Stoics, living in a world perhaps not so different in its material temptations, offered a radical and liberating perspective. Money, often seen as a master, can instead become a humble servant. The Stoic approach to money is rooted in the concept of sufficiency and contentment rather than endless accumulation. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously asked, "How much is enough?" His answer, "Enough to be truly free." This freedom isn't about boundless riches, but about being unburdened by excessive desires and the anxiety they bring. It means distinguishing clearly between genuine needs and fleeting desires. Do you truly need the latest gadget, or is it a desire fueled by societal pressure and advertising? By cultivating an appreciation for what we already possess, by understanding that true happiness doesn't reside in external possessions, we free ourselves from the golden chains of endless wanting. This involves a conscious decision to value experiences, relationships, and inner virtues over material accumulation. A cornerstone of Stoic financial wisdom is prudent management and foresight. It's not about asceticism or rejecting wealth entirely, but about being a responsible steward of our resources. This means living within our means, avoiding unnecessary debt, and preparing for future uncertainties without succumbing to anxiety. The Stoics encouraged a minimalist mindset, not out of deprivation, but out of a desire for clarity and independence. By reducing our dependence on external luxuries, we make ourselves less vulnerable to economic downturns and the whims of fortune. This practice of voluntary discomfort, occasionally choosing to live with less, strengthens our resilience and reminds us that our well-being is not contingent on material comforts. Furthermore, the Stoics understood that attachment to wealth is a significant source of suffering. They advised us to hold our possessions lightly, recognizing that everything external to us is ultimately on loan from fortune and can be taken away at any moment. This doesn't mean becoming reckless or indifferent to our finances, but rather developing an inner detachment that prevents loss from shattering our peace. If we define our worth by our material possessions, their loss inevitably leads to profound despair. By recognizing that our true value lies in our character, our virtues, and our rational mind, we become resilient to the ebb and flow of financial fortune. This perspective transforms money from a source of perpetual anxiety into a neutral tool that can be used for good or simply managed wisely. The Stoic philosophy also emphasizes the generous use of wealth when it is acquired. While they valued personal independence, they also recognized the interconnectedness of humanity. Wealth, when prudently managed, can be a means to practice virtues like benevolence and justice. This isn't about ostentatious charity, but about using resources to benefit others, to contribute to the common good, and to alleviate suffering. Such acts, done without expectation of reward or recognition, further solidify one's inner freedom and sense of purpose, demonstrating a mastery over the material world by directing it towards higher aims. In essence, mastering money, from a Stoic perspective, is about mastering ourselves. It's about cultivating a mindset of contentment, practicing responsible stewardship, detaching from the allure of excessive material possessions and using our resources wisely and virtuously. By shifting our focus from endless pursuit to sufficient gratitude and prudent management, we free ourselves from financial anxiety and reclaim a profound sense of independence. We transform money from a demanding master into a humble servant, allowing us to pursue a life rich not in possessions, but in purpose, peace, and genuine freedom. The mind, the unseen architect of reality. Your mind is the ultimate battleground and also your greatest workshop. It is here that reality is constructed, perceptions are forged, and meaning is assigned. In our hyper-connected, information-saturated world, our minds are rarely given a moment's rest. They become a constant swirl of worries, self-doubt, criticisms, and external noise, making genuine peace feel like a distant dream. We replay past mistakes, catastrophize about future possibilities, and allow intrusive thoughts to hijack our focus and contentment. The Stoics, with their profound insights into human psychology, understood that controlling this inner realm is paramount to living a good life. They taught us that while we cannot always control external events, we absolutely, fundamentally, control our interpretations and judgments of those events. Your mind, therefore, is the unseen architect of your reality. The cornerstone of Stoic mental discipline is the dichotomy of control, which we touched upon earlier. This principle dictates that our judgments, our thoughts, our responses, and our actions are entirely within our power, while external events, the weather, other people's opinions, our health, our reputation, are not. Much of our mental turmoil stems from desperately trying to control what is inherently uncontrollable. The Stoic practice involves consciously recognizing this distinction and ruthlessly redirecting our mental energy away from what is outside our sphere of influence and towards what is entirely ours. When a plan falls apart due to circumstances beyond your control, the Stoic doesn't lament the external event. Instead, they focus on their internal response, how they choose to adapt, what they learn, and how they maintain their composure. This constant reorientation of focus is incredibly empowering, transforming mental frustration into active problem-solving and acceptance. Secondly, the Stoics emphasize the power of cognitive restructuring, or disciplining assent. This means actively examining and challenging the initial thoughts and judgments that arise in our minds. Often, it's not the external event that disturbs us, but our interpretation of it. For example, a criticism from a colleague might immediately trigger thoughts of inadequacy or anger. The Stoic would pause and ask, is this judgment truly accurate? Is there another way to look at this? Is this criticism based on fact, or is it merely an opinion? What virtue can I practice in this moment? By subjecting our automatic thoughts to rational scrutiny, we gain the power to reject unhelpful narratives and choose more constructive ones. This is a deliberate, ongoing practice of cultivating a rational and resilient mind, weeding out the thorns of irrational fears and self-defeating beliefs. Furthermore, mindful presence is crucial for mental mastery. Our minds often drift into dwelling on past regrets or anxieties about the future, robbing us of the only time we truly possess, the present moment. The Stoics urged us to ground ourselves in the here and now, to fully engage with the task at hand, and to appreciate the simple realities of existence. By bringing our attention to our breath, our senses, and the immediate environment, we disrupt the cycle of overthinking and rumination. This is not about denying memories or future planning, but about preventing them from becoming mental prisons that prevent us from experiencing and acting effectively in the present. Living mindfully is a powerful antidote to the scattered, overwhelmed mind. The practice of premeditation of evils, premeditatio malorum, is another powerful Stoic tool for mental resilience. This involves consciously contemplating potential future difficulties or misfortunes, loss, illness, financial setback, public criticism. This isn't about inviting negativity, but about mentally preparing for life's inevitable challenges. By confronting hypothetical adversities in the quiet of our minds, we strip them of their power to shock and overwhelm us when they actually occur. This mental rehearsal builds an inner armor, transforming vague fear into concrete foresight and uncertainty into quiet confidence. When difficulties arise, we meet them not as victims caught off guard, but as prepared, resourceful individuals who have already considered these possibilities. Finally, the Stoics championed the consistent practice of virtue as the ultimate path to mental peace. They believed that true happiness, eudaimonia, comes from living in accordance with reason and virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When our thoughts, words, and actions align with these virtues, our minds naturally achieve a state of coherence and tranquility. Living virtuously simplifies decision-making, reduces internal conflict, and creates a robust sense of self-worth that is independent of external validation. By diligently cultivating these inner qualities, we build a mind that is not merely calm, but also purposeful, resilient, and profoundly free. Mastering your mind is not just a technique. It is a way of life, constantly shaping and refining the unseen architect of your reality for lasting peace and happiness. The dichotomy of control, the heart of Stoicism. At the very core of Stoic wisdom lies a simple yet profoundly revolutionary truth: the dichotomy of control. This principle is often attributed to Epictetus, who clearly articulated that some things are in our control and others are not. This isn't just a philosophical concept. It's a practical, actionable filter through which to view every aspect of your life, offering the key to true tranquility and effectiveness. Much of our anxiety, frustration, and suffering stems from our relentless and often futile attempts to control that which is inherently beyond our grasp. The Stoics believed that true freedom and peace come from consciously discerning between these two categories and directing all our energy, worry, and effort only towards what lies within our power. So, what exactly is within our control? According to the Stoics, this sphere is surprisingly narrow, yet incredibly potent. It includes our opinions, our impulses, our desires, our aversions, and most importantly, our judgments and our actions. These are the operations of our own mind, the choices we make, and the character we cultivate. We control how we perceive events, how we choose to respond to challenges, what values we adopt, and how we behave in the world. This means our beliefs, our intentions, our efforts, and our moral character are entirely within our dominion. No one can force you to believe something you don't, or to act against your will, if you are truly master of your inner self. This is where our true power lies, in our capacity for rational thought and virtuous action. Conversely, what is not in our control? This list is far broader and often includes many things we spend immense energy worrying about. It includes our bodies, which are subject to illness, aging, and death, our possessions, which can be lost, stolen, or damaged, our reputation, how others perceive us, the actions and opinions of other people, the weather, the economy, external events like natural disasters or political shifts, and even our own physical comfort or pain. These external circumstances, people, and events are beyond our direct influence. We can act with prudence, make wise choices, and exert effort, but the ultimate outcome of these external factors is not guaranteed. The profound peace derived from understanding this dichotomy comes from a radical shift in perspective. When we focus our energy on trying to control things that are outside our control, we are guaranteed frustration, anxiety, and disappointment. We are attempting to play a game we cannot win. Imagine trying to stop the rain by sheer force of will, or to compel someone to like you against their genuine feelings. It's an exercise in futility that drains our mental and emotional reserves. The Stoic practice involves consciously training oneself to identify which sphere an issue belongs to. When faced with a challenge, the immediate question becomes, is this something I can directly influence or change with my own rational choices and actions? If the answer is yes, then act decisively and virtuously. If the answer is no, then the Stoic response is acceptance. Not passive resignation, but an active, intelligent embrace of reality as it is. This acceptance allows us to release the emotional burden associated with things we cannot change, freeing up vast reserves of mental and emotional energy that were once wasted on futile resistance. This discernment is not passive resignation, it is active liberation. It empowers us to live with greater equanimity, knowing that our inner peace is not contingent upon external circumstances. When faced with an unjust accusation, we cannot control the accuser's words or the crowd's judgment, but we can control our integrity, our response, and our commitment to truth. When faced with economic hardship, we cannot control the market, but we can control our frugality, our hard work, and our resilience. This understanding liberates us from the tyranny of external events, allowing us to find stability and contentment within ourselves, cultivating an inner fortress that remains unshakable amidst the ceaseless changes of the external world. It is by focusing on what is truly ours, our judgments and our actions, that we find true freedom and peace. The practice of premeditatio malorum, rehearsing resilience. To truly master life and to cultivate an unshakable inner calm, the Stoics practiced what they called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This ancient technique, often misunderstood, is not about dwelling on negativity or inviting misfortune. On the contrary, it is a powerful mental exercise designed to build profound psychological resilience, to strip potential adversities of their power to shock and overwhelm us, and to foster a deeper appreciation for the present moment. It's a form of proactive mental preparation, a rehearsal for the inevitable challenges that life will undoubtedly present. In essence, premeditatio malorum involves consciously and deliberately contemplating potential difficulties before they actually occur. This means setting aside time to mentally walk through scenarios like the loss of a job, a serious illness, financial setbacks, the death of a loved one, public criticism, or even simply daily annoyances like being stuck in traffic or having plans disrupted. The goal isn't to wallow in these possibilities, but to calmly and rationally consider them. For each scenario, you ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? How would I respond? What virtues would I need to call upon? What aspects of this situation are within my control and what are outside it? The immediate benefit of this practice is the reduction of fear and anxiety. Much of our suffering stems from the fear of the unknown, the shock of the unexpected, and the illusion that bad things only happen to other people. By confronting hypothetical adversities in the quiet of our minds, we diminish their power to surprise and destabilize us when they actually manifest. It's like a firefighter regularly training for various emergencies. When a real fire breaks out, they act with discipline and less panic because they have mentally rehearsed the steps. Similarly, by mentally rehearsing potential misfortunes, we build a mental fire drill that allows us to react with greater composure and reason rather than being swept away by immediate emotional distress. We transform vague fear into concrete foresight. Beyond fear reduction, premeditatio malorum fosters profound gratitude and appreciation for the present moment. When you routinely contemplate the impermanence of health, relationships, or possessions, you inevitably develop a deeper appreciation for their presence in your life right now. The simple act of waking up healthy, having food on the table, or sharing a laugh with a friend takes on a new, more vibrant significance when you've briefly imagined their absence. This practice encourages us to savor the good times, to be fully present and grateful for what we have, rather than constantly striving for what we lack or taking our current blessings for granted. It shifts our focus from entitlement to appreciation, from complacency to active enjoyment. This mental exercise also strengthens our resilience and adaptability. By imagining how we would cope with various setbacks, we activate our problem-solving faculties and identify potential coping mechanisms or fallback plans. It helps us realize that even in the face of significant loss or adversity, we often possess inner resources, our reason, our virtues, our courage, that enable us to endure and even thrive. It prepares us to adapt to changing circumstances rather than clinging rigidly to expectations. The Stoics understood that life is inherently unpredictable, and premeditatio malorum is our mental training ground for that unpredictability. Furthermore, this practice helps us to prioritize what truly matters. When we mentally strip away external comforts and superficial concerns, we are left with the core elements of a meaningful life: our character, our virtues, our relationships, and our rational mind. This clarity helps us to live with greater intentionality, focusing our energy on cultivating these inner goods rather than chasing fleeting external desires that can be lost at any moment. It highlights the profound truth that our true wealth lies within, beyond the reach of external fortune. In summary, premeditatio malorum is not a morbid exercise, but a powerful act of self-care and mental preparation. It's about facing potential difficulties with open eyes, building an inner armor of resilience, deepening our gratitude for the present, and clarifying our values. By regularly engaging in this profound Stoic practice, we transform fear into foresight, uncertainty into quiet confidence, and, inevitably, cultivate a more robust, serene, and profoundly prepared mind to meet whatever challenges life may bring. We learn to greet life not as a victim, but as a prepared, resourceful individual, ready for any storm. The practice of amor fati, embracing your destiny. Amor fati, love of fate, is perhaps one of the most counterintuitive yet profoundly liberating concepts in Stoicism. It's not passive resignation, nor is it a blind optimism that ignores suffering. Instead, amor fati is an active, joyful embrace of everything that happens, recognizing it as a necessary and perfect part of the grand tapestry of the universe, and therefore essential for our own growth and flourishing. Friedrich Nietzsche, a later philosopher, encapsulated it beautifully. My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. At its heart, amor fati is about radical acceptance of reality, exactly as it is. It means accepting not just the good, but also the bad, the difficult, the painful, and the unexpected. The Stoics believed in a rational, interconnected universe governed by a benevolent providence or an impersonal, logical fate. Everything that occurs, therefore, is part of this cosmic order, and resisting it is like fighting against the current of a powerful river, a futile and exhausting endeavor. Instead of wishing things were different, if only this hadn't happened, amor fati calls us to say, this happened, and it is precisely what was meant to happen, and I will find purpose and strength within it. This doesn't mean you don't try to change things you can control. It means you accept the things you cannot control as part of the overall design, learning from them and integrating them into your life's narrative. One of the most powerful aspects of amor fati is its ability to transform adversity into opportunity. When we embrace everything that happens, even setbacks or misfortunes, we stop seeing them as obstacles to our happiness and start viewing them as raw material for our growth. A job loss becomes an opportunity to explore a new career path or to develop resilience. A difficult relationship becomes a chance to practice patience, empathy, or clear communication. Illness becomes an invitation to cultivate courage and detachment from the body. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, put it simply, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This reframe allows us to extract lessons and forge character from experiences that would otherwise crush our spirit. Amor fati also fosters a profound sense of inner peace and freedom from worry. Much of our mental suffering comes from our resistance to what is. We constantly replay past events with what-ifs or dread future possibilities, wishing reality would conform to our desires. By loving our fate, we release this internal struggle. We stop wasting energy on lamenting circumstances beyond our control and instead focus on what we can control: our attitude, our character, and our response. This liberation from resistance brings a deep calm, knowing that whatever happens, we are equipped to meet it with equanimity. This practice also cultivates deep gratitude for all experiences, even the challenging ones. While it might seem paradoxical, by embracing the entirety of our fate, we begin to see how even difficult moments contribute to our development, shaping us into stronger, wiser individuals. The struggles we overcome often become the source of our greatest wisdom and empathy. Amor Fati encourages us to view our life not as a series of disconnected good and bad events, but as a cohesive story where every chapter, every plot twist serves a purpose in our unfolding journey. Finally, Amor Fati provides a profound sense of purpose and agency in the face of destiny. It's not about being passive. It's about being an active participant in your own life's unfolding, taking full responsibility for your reactions and choices within the framework of what is given. By accepting your fate, you are not surrendering. You are empowering yourself to work with reality rather than against it. You become an artist, taking whatever colors are available on your palette, beautiful or dull, and creating a masterpiece of a life. By loving your fate, you truly make it your own, transforming external circumstances into internal strength and profound contentment. The unbreakable spirit, your inner citadel revealed. This isn't about becoming unfeeling or about suppressing the rich tapestry of human emotion. On the contrary, it is about becoming profoundly, powerfully unbreakable. Imagine a vast, ancient oak tree standing tall and proud through countless seasons. It doesn't deny the existence of gales or the bite of winter. It doesn't fight against the wind or curse the frost. Instead, its roots grow deeper, its trunk thickens, and its branches learn to sway with the tempest, bending but never breaking. That oak tree is a metaphor for the Stoic, for you, when you fully embody the principles we've explored. The climax of understanding Stoicism isn't in mastering a technique, but in realizing a fundamental truth. Your inner peace, your serenity, and your ultimate happiness are not contingent upon external circumstances. This is the profound revelation, the key moment where the philosophy transcends theory and becomes a living, breathing reality within you. It's the moment you stop being a passenger tossed about by life's waves and truly become the captain of your own ship, charting your course with purpose and unwavering resolve. Think of it. When you consciously govern your mouth, your words become precise tools for connection and truth, rather than blunt instruments of regret. The impulsive remark that once led to conflict is replaced by a measured response, building bridges where walls once stood. The constant stream of complaints gives way to a quiet acknowledgement of reality, freeing your spirit from self-imposed negativity. This mastery isn't about silence, it's about making every word count, every utterance reflecting your highest self. When you master your mood, you reclaim the emotional landscape within. That sudden surge of anger or the creeping dread of anxiety no longer dictates your actions. You observe these emotions, acknowledge them, but refuse to let them imprison you. You understand that while feelings arise, you are not defined by them. You become the discerning gardener of your inner citadel, choosing which emotions to cultivate and which to gently prune away, fostering resilience and a profound sense of inner calm, no matter how turbulent the external storm. This is the freedom of emotional sovereignty. When you master your money, you transcend the endless pursuit of more and find liberation in sufficiency. The gnawing worry about finances loosens its grip, replaced by a prudent contentment and a focus on true independence. You realize that your worth isn't measured by your net worth, and that genuine security comes not from endless accumulation, but from valuing what truly matters and wisely managing what you have. This isn't just financial stability. It's a liberation from the golden chains of consumerism and a pathway to true financial peace. And perhaps most transformative, when you master your mind, you cultivate an inner sanctuary impervious to the chaos of the world. The incessant chatter of worries, the corrosive whispers of self-doubt, and the overwhelming noise of external opinions quieten. You become the vigilant guard at the gate of your thoughts, allowing only what is true, rational, and virtuous to enter. This is where you apply the dichotomy of control, relentlessly focusing your energy on what you can influence, your judgments, your actions, and gracefully accepting what you cannot. It's the profound shift from being tossed about by your thoughts to consciously directing them, shaping your reality from within. This is the promise of Stoicism, to transform external adversity into an opportunity for internal growth. Every challenge, every setback, every seemingly unfair twist of fate becomes a forge in which your character is strengthened, your wisdom deepened, and your inner resolve solidified. It is about cultivating a serene mind, a grounded spirit, and a life lived with profound purpose and dignity, knowing that while you cannot control the waves, you can absolutely, undeniably, control your own ship and guide it steadfastly through any storm. This is the moment you truly take command. Conclusion. We've journeyed through the profound and practical wisdom of Stoicism, exploring how this ancient philosophy offers a powerful roadmap for navigating the complexities of modern life. We've seen how mastering the four crucial pillars, your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind, isn't just about self-improvement. It's about reclaiming your inner sovereignty and cultivating an unshakable peace. We began by understanding the immense power of your words, recognizing them as tools that can build or destroy. By practicing mindful speech, by asking ourselves if our words are necessary, kind, true, and helpful, we transform impulsive reactions into deliberate, constructive communication. This conscious choice over what we utter cultivates integrity and fosters healthier connections, reflecting a deeper internal discipline. Then we explored how to fortify your moods, transforming your inner self into an impregnable citadel. The Stoics taught us that while emotions will arise, we are not enslaved by them. By observing our feelings without judgment and distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot, we build emotional resilience. This allows us to navigate life's inevitable storms with equanimity, choosing our responses rather than being swept away by reactive impulses. Next, we delved into mastering your relationship with money, shifting from a mindset of endless pursuit to one of contentment and prudent stewardship. By embracing sufficiency and detaching from the allure of excessive material possessions, we liberate ourselves from financial anxiety. Money becomes a tool, not a master, enabling us to live with greater independence and to use our resources wisely and virtuously. And finally, we uncovered the ultimate workshop, your mind. This is where reality is shaped and peace is cultivated. Through disciplined thought, by challenging unhelpful judgments, and by focusing solely on what is within our control, we transform mental chaos into clarity. Practices like the dichotomy of control and premeditatio malorum equip us to cultivate a robust, serene, and purposeful inner landscape, regardless of external circumstances. These aren't separate endeavors. They are interwoven threads in the rich tapestry of a Stoic life. They teach us that true freedom isn't found in external circumstances or fleeting pleasures, but in the internal citadel of our character. It's a continuous journey, not a destination, a daily practice of becoming more aware, more disciplined, and ultimately more authentically ourselves. By embracing these principles, you begin to cultivate a profound sense of inner strength and tranquility, creating a life not just lived, but truly mastered. This is the enduring legacy of Stoicism, a timeless wisdom ready to empower your life today. The journey we've embarked on today, exploring the profound wisdom of controlling your mouth, mood, money, and mind, is just the beginning. The principles of Stoicism offer an endless wellspring of insights and practical tools ready to empower you to live a life of profound peace, resilience, and purpose. We've merely scratched the surface of how this ancient philosophy can transform your daily existence. If today's discussion resonated with you, if you felt that spark of recognition for the power that lies within your own control, then we warmly invite you to continue this journey with us. This video is just one chapter in a much larger story of self-mastery and inner freedom. To dive deeper into the transformative power of Stoicism, to uncover more practical exercises, and to join a growing community dedicated to living a more virtuous and serene life, we urge you to explore the other videos right here on the Stoic Philosophy YouTube channel. Each video is crafted to provide you with actionable wisdom that you can apply immediately to your life. And to ensure you never miss an opportunity to strengthen your mind, cultivate greater peace, and unlock genuine happiness, please take a moment to subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy channel. Hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when new insights and guidance are released. Thank you for investing your valuable time with us today. Your commitment to self-improvement and the pursuit of wisdom is truly commendable. We wish you immense strength, unwavering peace, and profound happiness on your continuing journey. May your path be filled with clarity, purpose, and the quiet joy that comes from truly mastering yourself.
Thank you for watching this video here on the Stoic Philosophy. If you found value in this, I invite you to explore more videos on the channel. There's so much more wisdom to uncover. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next one. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.